Powered by Riverside.
Hey everybody, Michael Wheels Parisi. Pound at the bomb, everybody. Everybody's got a story. Welcome to the show, as always. Got a great guest today. I'm going to bring him on in just a little while. And I appreciate everybody being here today. Again, Michael Wheels Parisi. I want to first say this show is sponsored today by Babes Classic Restorations. If you haven't heard of Babes, they're in Venice, Florida. And let's see if you can see what's going on. They're in Venice, Florida, and they're the founding partner of the show. Everybody's got a story. If you got a classic car that deserves a second chance, the team at Babes doesn't want to just restore vehicles. They bring history back to life. They're located in Venice, Florida. Babes Classic Restorations has earned a reputation for quality, craftsmanship, attention to detail, and doing things the right way. So if you're waiting for the right time to bring your car in, if you want to trust somebody, trust me when I tell you, they are the ones you want to talk to. Give Babes Classic Restorations a call today at 941-286-7740 or visit them at 735 Commerce Drive, Unit 8 in Venice, Florida. Babes Classic Restorations, where great cars get a second life. Tonight's guest is a true New York original, a comedian, actor, and storyteller who has been making audiences laugh for decades. Born and raised in Queens, New York, he grew up studying legends like Pat Cooper, George Carlin, and his personal hero, Don Rickles. He worked his way through the comedy clubs of Brooklyn, Manhattan, and the Bronx, and everywhere else, Staten Island, before he had the chance of meeting with Tim Allen that helped change the course of his career. Millions of people know him as the unforgettable, donut-loving Benny Baroni from the hit television series Home Improvement. He also appeared alongside Tim Allen in The Santa Claus and Joe Somebody. But behind all those credits is a man with one hell of a story, people, about comedy, television, faith, survival, and everything he learned along the way. He's funny. He's real. He's one of those guys that comes from the old-school comedy New York trenches like me. He's a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the very funny, fantastic Jim Labriola, everybody. Jim Labriola. All right, they love you. They love you. They love you. They love you. Wow, there he is.
Ooh,
how you
that
doing,
was beautiful,
Jim?
man. Thank you. Great studio audience. I love these people. Thank you, guys.
They're nice, and they loved you. Right? They knew you were going to be here. And they were, this is your crowd.
Great audience. Great audience.
And to be honest with you, this is actually your crowd. The people that listen to this show is our crowd. It's our age, you know, 50s, 60s, 70s, grew up in the same time in the area. So you've been in the business a long time, Jim. We go back, I guess, 30 some odd years. I mean, really. I mean, we didn't hang out every night of the week back in the day, but we were in the same clubs and we did a lot of the same thing. Before we get into all the comedy world, Jim, I want to ask you, before Home Improvement and before Tim Allen, before the millions of people who knew you as Benny, who is that kid from Queens? And when did he realize that being funny might actually become his life one day?
That's a good question. First of all, I want to say it's an honor to be here, Michael, to be on your show. You do a great job, phenomenal guest. And of everybody you picked me as one of the guests, and I want to say thank you for that. It's an honor to be here. But that's a good question. I grew up in Corona, Queens, very unique neighborhood too, all Italian back then. And, I loved comedy from till the day I could remember. I mean, I loved watching it on TV. And, I think about I Love Lucy, all these shows, that back then. Yeah. And then... I would remember watching women like Toady Fields, and Phyllis Diller. And why I bring up a lot of, it was so tough for them back then. But this little guy here loved women comics because my 4 aunts, my father had 4 sisters growing up in Corona, and they all had truck driver mouths, but were funny. My Aunt Lucy sold bootleg cigarettes for the boys for 12 years in a house. So I was always around funny women. And that's why I loved funny comics, but it attracted me. My family was naturally funny or crazy. There was no middle. They were funny, they would hit you on the head with a pipe, and then a week later, we're all out to dinner talking about he hit you on the head with a pipe, and it was material.
And and you laughed at getting hit in the head with a pipe. Everybody laughed.
Yeah, you laughed about it. Remember the time when he left the attic door open and Daddy hit him on the head with the pipe?
And he had a concussion. Remember that?
Yeah, and we would just sit around the table. And I was the youngest of 5. So there's a lot of years between me and my brother were 14 years, my other sister 13 years, my brother 10 years between us, and then me and my sister 3 years. So there was a lot of, they would sit around and tell these stories. I wasn't even born yet. I would just go, yeah, I remember, yeah, right.
Right.
But it was a great neighborhood.
Well, did you grow up in a typical Italian American household? I mean, was it a typical Italian?
Yes. And what was great about the neighborhood is my grandfather, he spoke broken English from Italy, but he was a successful businessman. He used to dig out basements with the horses and all. Yeah. But he owned houses in Corona, like 3-4 houses. I learned about this for back then. And then the house on 103rd Street, he lived upstairs, and then my Aunt Millie and her 2 kids lived with him. And my Aunt Julia was downstairs with 9 kids. My Aunt Lucy lived up the block, selling.
Everybody lived in the neighborhood.
You could walk. What was so great, you walked to all your family, your cousins, your
aunts. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful time back then. Christmas Eve was a beautiful time back then. Oh my God. Everybody would go to. Everybody would. You stop at one house for a drink, then you stop at the next house for a drink. As you got older, before you got back home, you're already buzzed. The sausage comes out of the oven.
When I got older, I learned to buy 1 bottle of booze, and you would just bring it, and then when you left, you took it and you brought it to the next house. So 1 bottle, I got like 10 ounces out of it,
And
that's what the uniqueness was of it.
Growing up that way,
everybody was there,
Yeah. Do you miss those times? I mean, do you wish they could relive it for a week?
Yes. Yeah. I've been watching these things on I don't know if you ever see them on YouTube, and it's like you go back to 1957 or 19. I don't know how they do it.
Oh yeah, like Christmas 1950s. Yeah, and they show you how beautiful it was. And you really feel it.
The way they do it, it's like doo-wop music. They got one. My favorite is New York 1950, which I was born in 57. But how they do it's 57. The people, the cars, everything, and they go with the music. And there's a bunch of them. California, you go back 1956. But yeah,
I've seen. I love those.
I would love to go back to Corona, back in the late 50s, early 60s, without a doubt.
That's what I think Corona was where the Lemon Ice King was, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that it's funny. My friend, growing up, Vinny Babaccio, owns it now. But there used to be De Gaulle. The original owner was De Gaulle. He just sat in a chair like that, never moved. Except if you did something, he'd chase you and throw a rock at you. Then his son took over when he died. He sat in the same chair, honest to God, never moved. But Vinny took it over. Vinny was a great ball player. He used to play with my cousin Dennis and all. And you always, if I see Vinny today, I'll spend 2 hours with him talking if he's there when I'm in town.
Do you get back to New York at all? Do you ever get back to the old neighborhood ever?
Not as much as I used to. Definitely not. I used to get back when I lived in L.A. doing the show. I was back at least 6 to 8 times a year. And that's when I used to come do the Guido show, too. But now, this is the longest I've been away from home. Probably, the last thing I did was a film with Colin Quinn. I did something in Brooklyn. And even then, I started noticing changes, And no, it's got to be at least 6 years. That's the longest I've ever been away.
And now they got this friggin' mayor in Mundummy. Who the fuck? This guy's he's going to ruin the city. They got to get. They got to vote him out.
It's already ruined. I tell you, how do you? The problem is the people that don't want him didn't vote. How you gonna? They come out with like what? 8 to 12% voters. How do you? The guy said everything he was going to do. He's not going to do. He's a communist. They hide under this socialist thing. People, please, if you got half
complete
communism, look at every country. They've had socialism or communism.
It never worked. And
there's a reason we have to build a wall in this country to keep them out. These countries have a wall to keep them in. Big difference. Yeah.
Do you think if Curtis Sliwa would have never ran, that it might be a different turnout?
Yeah. The sad thing is, I respect Curtis for when we grew up, it was bad. New York was bad. In a different way, the crime. And here's a guy that did something. He got the guardian angels and all that. When you saw him on a subway, you felt safer.
Right.
And he would have made a difference. He would have been tough on crime. But there come a point where you got to look at it. He should have looked at it and said, because I would have loved him to win, personally.
Yeah, me too. I would have too. Right.
a murderer of elderly people,
Right.
Cuomo. No offense.
I
But
agree.
I would have definitely, he should have got out.
He should have bowed out. Right. At least Cuomo is Cuomo, as much as what he did. He's still like
he's not a communist.
He's not a communist. He's an old Democrat, and he's still controlled by people that can tell him, "Hey, chill out a little bit, get this shit done," and he would have done it.
And just keep your sister away from him, and that's
it.
That's,
that's right. Leave everybody alone.
Yeah.
So I know you. I mean, of course, and I could talk about, but a lot of the people who don't know you, and I'm sure because you've been around fucking since early. I mean, you started comedy before I did. I started in '87. You must have been before me.
I was in the '70s, man. Believe me.
You were in the '70s. Yeah. You said your influence was Don Rickles, Pat Cooper, Carlin Pryor, but like, who do you like? Did you watch them on TV? Like back then, what were you doing to study them or read them? Or
I would watch the Tonight Show, and Don Rickles automatically became my guy. My energy level, he's the guy, and I had that in school, quickness, and sometimes they.
You have that Rickles-esque about you.
Yeah, they would call me the Italian Don Rickles. But then we'd sit around and listen to Pat Cooper albums every Sunday with the Macaronis. My whole family, brothers and sisters, would sit. What a different time, and you would just cry. And when you think about it, Pat was not just a jokester; he was a storyteller. Italian weddings, this, and I would listen to him. And then when I got a little older, I started listening to George Carlin albums.
He was my idol,
backwards and forward. And then Richard Pryor. What's till this day the biggest compliment, not to jump, but it's one of those things, Michael, the way you think. Did this really happen? I was at the Comedy Store one night, and I was sitting in the back with Mitzi. Richard was sitting in the back with Mitzi. I didn't see him, Richard Pryor. That's when he would come in during the week and get up when he was starting to shake.
Sure.
And I didn't know he was there, which is probably good. But when I got off doing my set, he called me over like this. And I said, "Oh, Mr. Pryor." And he looked right in my eye when his finger was shaking. He goes, You a funny man. You a funny man. And I just looked at him and said, "Thank you, Mr. Pryor. Thank you so much."
How humbling was that? Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. That's like when you turn into a fucking little kid again. Like you just, how do you?
I didn't know what to say. It's even like I said. It's one of those. That really. I know I wasn't drinking or drugging or not. And it was real.
Right.
But for him to call me over and look at me and say, "You a funny man," and then it was so nice. Later on, I got to help him up there a few times.
Right. Oh, that's nice.
He would go up and sit down and. Yeah, I got to do that later on.
That's great. Yeah,
I never forgot.
Comedy Store was a very special place. I mean, I love the store. That was God, that was a great place. It still is a great place. I haven't been there many years.
It said my time through it, like through the '90s and stuff. It became,
that was the dead time.
It was like a rough time where they'd have drive-bys and Eddie Griffin and these guys would show up and do, supposed to do 20 minutes. They do an hour.
Fat Tuesday and all that.
It had a different vibe, but I still loved it. I mean, listen, I'm doing the. And Mitzi, I met her through John Maroney, may he rest in peace, and she loved my comedy, and then I actually started doing the big room pretty quick. Yeah. You
escalated pretty quick there.
I did. And then I went to the Laugh Factory. The Improv was okay. I went there when I was being managed by Rick, but just the vibe there, it wasn't my cup of tea.
I agree. Did you ever get a chance to tell Don Rickles, at least Don Rickles or Pat Cooper? Did you ever have that conversation with them?
Pat, I'm in his book. I mean, Pat.
Right. Okay. That I knew.
I had a radio show with Frankie Pace a long time ago, and I put Jay London on. I called The Boys from Brooklyn, and this is a long time ago, and that's how we went on once a week, and that's how I got Pat was a guest. And as they say, the rest is history. My first two Guido shows were at Jimmy's Comedy Alley in Queens, and Pat came. Yeah. Both of them.
Yeah.
And after like 5 or 6 of us, Frank D'Amico, all of us, Pat came up and destroyed us and killed. He's like, "Don't tell nobody I'm here in the basement." So we stayed. I talked to Pat all these years, all the time. I became like an audience. And then Don Rickles, the funny thing, I would see him at Westbury every year. So one time, I'm a new comic. I went myself, and I went in the back where the limo comes, and I just went up.
Yeah.
And I was behind the thing. I'm there. "Hello, Mr. Rickles. I'm a comedian, and here's my card if you want to come see me." Probably threw it away.
Great.
But Richard Lewis, who was one of my dearest friends, he played his father on a sitcom that didn't really last, but he showed me outtakes years ago. He knew I was a fan.
Yeah.
And I was going to meet him many times for dinner, but it never worked out. So I never got to meet my idol on a one-on-one. But they say that's a good thing, maybe.
Yeah, sometimes it is. Sometimes when you meet somebody in the business, and when you like them, like I always liked Robert De Niro, and then I met him, and I'm like, this guy's a fucking asshole. I didn't like him, and I lost my liking for De Niro. Yeah.
Well, Jonathan Lewis, also Richard Lewis put me in on that phone call. They talked for years. These guys needed an audience. And before you know it, I would just cry for half hour. They would just talk horrible things to each other, hysterical.
Right.
And then he called me Guido. I got a nickname, and that lasted about 2-3 years. And then, again, when I was going to go to dinner, he invited us. I had my "It's a Mad, Mad World" tape, and he died. So
yeah.
But I have those memories.
That was those memories. I go back to Pat Cooper, but who's really a very underrated comedian as far as I'm concerned that never got it like Pat Cooper was Luke Carey. And I used to love Luke Carey. Do you remember him, Bacala?
I heard that name, Luke Carey. Yeah, yes.
Look into Luke Carey. He was just an I don't know why he was held back a lot when he was really like just as good as Pat Cooper, if you ask me.
Wow.
But
I gotta go back and check his.
I'm gonna play a little bit of something of
Jackie Vernon, all those men.
Jackie Vernon, yep. Those guys. Yeah, I'm gonna play a little something.
Menace.
I'm going to play a little something of you right now. Here's a little bit of Jim Labriola. Here we are. I don't know where this is. I think it's in Bananas Comedy Club. And we're going to play a little bit of Jim Labriola.
I grew up in one of those very Italian neighborhoods where we had a lot of crime, but no one ever saw or heard anything. I didn't see nothing. I didn't hear nothing. And no matter how you got killed in my neighborhood, it was always a heart attack. You could throw a guy off a 30-story roof. The cops go, "What happened?" "I don't know. It looked like a heart attack." "Yeah, the guy hit his chest and fell over. I tried to help. I don't know. They could be this many people. I'm not kidding you. We're all hanging out, having a good time. A guy laying right here with an ice pick sticking out of his back, right? The cops go, "Oh, what happened?" "I don't know. It looked like a heart attack."
I love that guy. It always was, right? At 50 funerals, they're all closed caskets.
That's
then
right.
I said, Michael, I went to one once. I looked in the coffin. There was nobody there. It was just a hand on a pillow with a little pinky ring. And the widow, she's crying. Ooh. I said, "What happened?" "Heart attack." I said, "Heart attack?" I said, "Would he fall in a wood chipper when he had it?"
He had a heart attack back in those days. That was So then you started opening. You were I believe was it Governor's Comedy Club where you met Tim?
Yes, I think it was 1989. Wow, that sounds like.
And that's and that's when the turning point was. Well, first of all, before that one, when was that show that I just showed you? Where was that? That was at Bananas Comedy Club. How long ago was that?
Called Bananas. It was kind of like a clean comedy show, thing. And I don't even remember. God, I forget where it was. Actually, it's a while ago. I forget where it was, but it was a lot of fun because I also did some funny. They interviewed me in between it, and me in the interview, I could get through stuff. I would laugh so much, But it was a nice family crowd. It was good.
Yeah, I think that might have been Bananas Comedy Club. I think they had it in King. I know there was one in King of Prussia in Pennsylvania. I performed over there. But so what happened that night? You met opening for Tim at Governor's. And then that's the night where everything kind of just took a pivot.
Yeah,
Jim
I didn't
Labriola.
even know who Tim was. Honest to God, at that time he was the hottest comic in the country.
I didn't know him back then either.
Yeah, he had that Showtime special, Men of Pigs, and he was making selling out clubs all across the country. People would come with 2 boats, pig noses. Here's the miracle. You want to talk about God interceding? I remember, I think it was Sue that booked Governors, and she called me, said, "Jim, could you work this weekend as an MC? I need an MC for this guy, Tim." And I'm like, right away, I hear MC. I thought I was more than that now, Monty, 350. Right. I said, "Let me call you back," right? And my friend Bob Piver, who wrote a lot of one-liners for Joan Rivers and Dangerfield and stuff, he goes, "Jimmy, what are you, crazy? Do the thing. This guy's hot. Whoever comes to see him will see you." So I could. Now, you got to remember, the odds that she called me, number one. Number two, I told her I'll call her back. 50 comics she could have called. Then I said, "I'll do it." And then I opened for Tim that night And by Friday night, that was my home club. Governors,
Yeah.
you killed there, I killed there.
Sure, yeah.
And we were different, and we got along. And by Saturday, it was like we knew each other all our life. And we hung out till like 3, 4 in the morning. And as they say, the rest is history. He went back and bragged about me to, I can't even think of his name now. He was my manager, too, after a while.
Yeah, Rick Messina.
Messina, yeah, who used to book. And then Rick calls me a couple weeks later. He goes, "Hey, you fat bastard." He was doing all my aunt stuff I used to do. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, this the guy wouldn't give me time of day. Now I'm like, But Tim he's the one that made me move out there. And, as they say, the rest is history. It was a wonderful
And the rest, yeah. Then you became Benny Baroni. And Benny Baroni was a fixture.
Yeah, we were
on
supposed to have
Home
the
Improvement.
spinoff, too. In 95, Tim had a deal with Disney's, and he chose us. So I was on Entertainment Tonight twice, me and Blake Clark, who owned the hardware store.
Right. How's Blake now? How is Blake now?
He's doing
everything
good.
with
I
him?
mean, I know he tried. I think he might have got out there again doing a little stand-up, but he was the first comic to talk about Vietnam and all that.
Right. Yeah, he was very into that.
He's a miracle. I mean, he's a war hero.
Oh,
And,
yeah. Yeah.
It was so fun to work with him. We always were on together. He owned the hardware store. I was Tim's close friend that never worked. But then they did 2 big stories on us, me and Blake. They came to the set. They came to, that's when it was a big deal to be on.
What was it like, though, behind the scenes when the cameras weren't on and nobody was
great.
watching?
It was great. It wasn't those shows. It was a great atmosphere. Tim being, Friday night after taping, everybody go out. It was it wasn't like, you hear that, like Coach. You remember that? I heard he was not a nice guy to be around.
Yeah, I heard that was a
hear
shitty
this
show to be on.
because other guys that come on our show guest starring say
Yeah.
he was
even on
ass.
even on Dice's show, those shows back then, it was always a lot of tension. That's what I say. The tension.
No,
No
Tim was
tension.
a comic. Everybody laughed. Everybody had a great time. And like I said, cameraman, everybody on Friday night. It was great. And then me and Blake were supposed to, and then we were weeks away, and I don't know what happened. They didn't do it.
They didn't do it.
And then 2 years later, they were supposed to do it again. I had a deal and everything, but we were depressed for a year. I tell you, man, you're going to be spun off with like the Jeffersons,
Yeah.
or #1 show. You already got a audience of regularly back then was 35 to 45 million viewers regularly.
And that's when people tuned into TV.
Yes.
You were right at the end of that. You were kind of like at the middle, the end of the time when the internet wasn't really out yet. It was kind of new. People still watched television. Not Netflix. It was TV. The 3 big networks.
I mean,
and
think
Fox.
about that, Michael. 35 to 40 million regular viewers. If you have 5 to 8, you're a hit now.
You had to be selling
It's
shows
crazy.
out like crazy back then. You had to be. You went on sale. You had to sell out. I mean, with that kind of viewership.
Yeah. It was a big deal to be on that. My money went up, and I had a lot of fun, and I like the California club, but the 20 minutes for us was like they were so easy because when you're road guys,
Yeah.
you're doing 45.
Yeah.
Minutes.
When did you go to L.A.?
So
Did you go to L.A.
I
before
moved
you got
there
home
in
Improvement?
93.
Is that when you got home? Is that when you got Home Improvement?
Yeah, I did some guest stars. Tim wanted me as a whole story as a new neighbor, and for some reason they didn't give it to me. He was really pissed. But then they actually created Benny for me.
Okay.
So the hard part was not being on every show as a reoccurring.
So that
radio guy.
that was a created show for you.
I
I was going to say
yeah,
that.
Blake had to read for his. Mine because they thought I was so funny and they saw me
Yeah.
on other stuff. They actually created him.
It makes sense now when you think about it because that show that he was you. I mean, Benny was Labriola. I mean,
it was so that character was so different than everybody else. And I mean, I didn't realize I'd get people from Germany. It was like a #1 show in Germany for years and these foreign countries. So I'd get people all the time, asking for my autograph. And I saw me on YouTube. I think if you look it up, the guy dubbing me in German, he was funnier than me. The guy. I mean, and Australia and stuff. But, I should have been there playing these casinos out there. But
right.
But it was fun. I had the biggest thing I always thought touched my heart was one guy when he got older said when he was a kid he named his turtle Benny.
That's
that
a
was
big
kind of
compliment.
cool. Yeah.
What was it like working on the television show and then having to make that transition into the Santa Claus and and Joe's somebody, and like working then. Now you're in the movie business with Tim, not on the TV business with Tim. It was like how did that?
Was that easy. I mean, it's like in the business. Not to jump ahead, but like my security business. This is what I said to my wife, and it's true for you too. After doing stand-up comedy, everything else in my life is easy.
Right.
Easy. So that's what I had to get used to from coming from the stage where we get the laughs. It was a different timing when you're playing to a studio audience doing a sitcom.
Right.
Or when you're in the movies, I would look and say, I would laugh to myself, this is fucking easy. Why am I playing that part? The only thing I would get mad is that I always felt I should have had bigger parts in these movies. Because I watched these guys, even guys that we had on the show, and some of them, you could see them shaking and all, but I found it easy.
Yeah.
Acting, I did. I really did. I wish I'd done a lot more of it. But then when I did the cruises for 6 years, it kind of took me out of that,
I think that, what's interesting is you had mentioned something earlier when we were talking on the phone off camera about like going on stage and being able to kill, knowing that we can. But we're very humble people, and we, thank you so much. And other comedians, I don't know how you do it. And I thought about it, and I'm like, you're right. But, listen, I'm 61 now, and I'm like, I am fucking
great.
Thank you. And you do too, by the way.
Thanks.
And you can't tell me because I know we have egos. We have to have them. I mean, anybody who says they don't have egos is full of shit. We have to have them. And you damn well that when you walk on that stage, that the person going up after you is going to have to work their ass off. You know what you bring to the table. You can't tell me that, I just like having fun. Bullshit. You're going up there to fucking kill them. That's
You're
it.
1,000% right, because there was a point in my career, I don't know if it was my 8th year or 9th year, whatever it was, something clicked. I'll never forget that night. Something clicked. Because, when you first start, first I had the suit, 2-piece, then the 3, then I had the Guido sweatband. You go through different. But one night it just clicked. And I said, now I know 9 out of 10 times I'm going to kill. And the truth is, I'll never forget, I had to do... I was with Rick Messina and some writer. They wanted to see me, so of course it was a Friday night, I think, Friday or Saturday, and it was at not the Comedy Store, the other one down the block, the Laugh Factory.
The Factory, yeah.
And Jamie's there, and of course Rick said put him up, so he gave me like a prime spot, like 9:30 or something. Well, I don't want to mention the name, Luke Kaczynski, whatever it was. But I never forget this. Female comic came in, hey, Labriola, how you doing? Hugging me and all that, right in front of her, because she was a sweetheart and very funny. But I didn't know. I went up and did my thing, and it was only like 20 minutes. I killed the room. I mean, it was over. And honest to God, it was one of those, forgive me, God, trying to stay humble, but it was one of those nights, like, close the door, you're not going to, and she had to go on after that. And remember, hey, Labriola, how you doing? You look good. Walked out, didn't even say good night or nothing. I'm thinking, was I supposed to go up and suck on purpose?
Exactly. That's what they want. What do they want me to do? Like I mean, years ago, even when I opened Vadice, I used to go on stage. I was going on stage for kill. I wanted to kill. I wanted to be the best one out there.
And you always did.
Thank you. But and you same with you.
I just did what I did, especially being a road comic where I had to do 45, 50 minutes. 20 minutes I could do in my sleep.
Yeah. If you had to go on stage right now. They say, listen, real quick, I need you real quick. Do me a favor. Go on 20 minutes. You're going to go up right now cold, and you're going to fucking kill it. That's right this second you can do it.
And that's the God's honest truth. If they said, Jimmy, there's 5,000 people, we need you to go down there. I don't know. Yep. I would just, because I know guys that if they don't work all the time, they get nervous or whatever. I just don't know. Listen, I think it's a gene in me. I have it. I don't know how to describe it. I just don't know how not to be funny, even off stage. I just don't know.
No nerves. I never get nervous. People say you get nervous. I don't get nervous. No, I don't. No. I just don't fucking get nervous. All right, that's the way it is.
No,
I get excited.
You're supposed to feel this. You're supposed to. I don't know what I feel. I say a prayer to God before every show, and I can't wait to get up. Sometimes I'm more comfortable there than I am off. Because it's the only time in my life, Michael, where I'm truly there in my life.
Right.
Truly
That's
focused in
truly Jim Labriola being him.
That's it. I'm not thinking about tomorrow or what happened yesterday. I'm right. And on stage, I can go. I've been up there with fevers, 102. My leg, I can hardly walk. But once you get up on that stage, it's all gone. It's gone.
There's nothing like it in the world. Nothing like it.
No.
But even just talking about it with you right now, like I'm ready to go on stage. Like I want to go on stage.
I know. Me too. Let's go.
I want to put a tour together. I told.
All right, tour guys. You see, two masters out here. Come on.
And they're listening. I'm telling you, Joe Rogan's producer, and they listen to the show. All of them listen to this fucking show.
Well, Joe, I got to say about Joe, all right? Joe, I always thought Joe was a good guy, and
Me too.
I'm a little nuts too. But Joe couldn't fight. I'd have to use a pipe or something.
Yeah, we'd have to use
But Joe, you got to get me on the show. I want to go on his show too. I want to talk about number one. Well, I want to talk about with my business too, human trafficking, a company that we help with that.
Yeah,
good things like that. I know and I offered him. I own a security company. We're in like 40 states.
Like you went crazy. You went nuts with this company. You just became
it's unbelievable. We do everything. I'm the king of the truck stops all over the country. But our main offices too. We're in like 30 states. But we have Houston and we have Dallas. So when that moron was coming after him, the meat man or whatever
the Liver King,
I couldn't get nobody to tell him. I was going to tell Joe, relax. I was going to do it on the house, like put a couple of guys down there that would, protect him and all. But I knew nobody how to get him. So if anybody knows out there how Joe, and I also want to come on, Joe, and talk about, I never forget what he did. I used to call him the fake Mexican, Carlos Mencia. I'll never forget. He goes up, and I don't know him. He's new and all, and he goes on before me, and he does way over his time. And I called him on the side, and I said, come here. You see that name, Labriola? I said, if you ever go 1 minute over, I'm going to knock you right out. I said, he looked at me. I said, don't look at me. Hear what I'm saying to you. I'm going to knock you right out. And he didn't say a word. Okay, no, I know, do it. And then I gave him the name, the fake Mexican. So when Joe did that, I was like, yeah. So I wanted to do that. There's another comic backstab, but we all know who it is. I wanted to talk about that on there. But anyway, Joe, look, if you don't have to book me. If not, I'm going to hurt you and your staff. If you don't, no,
I'll be over there in the morning.
No, but you know what? You got to give the guy credit, man. I mean, he's had a great sitcom career, a comedy career. Then he does the fighting. He's a phenomenal announcer.
I mean, he's very, very bad. We all know Joe from backstage at the Comedy Store too. We know what kind of guy he was.
I never got
to
really just hi and goodbye thing, But
and he was always a very nice guy. I got along with Joe well. Him and I did shows together.
Mitzi did what she did. Look at me. She stole my idea. With the Guido show.
With the Guido, not even that, but literally took your idea. Like that was
she was after me for 2 years to do it. I gotta say, but I kept ducking her.
But she didn't just take the idea, Jim. She took the whole title of the show. Like she just took the whole fucking thing.
And then I said, I went there with Frank D'Amico and his man, and then she wouldn't show up because the guy said that night. I gotta admit, her son's romance. Oh, Labrador, I didn't know. I'll take it right down. So a couple of comics, I said, listen, that's not my show. That's my show. And I own the name, by the way. So Rick Messina said, look, let her do what she's got to do, and then we'll sue her,
Right,
so a couple of comics, I let them know, and I said, listen, now that you know it's not my show, no problem. You want to do it? But I'm going to do your act, your whole act, and make it funny. And I did. Yep. I told these guys straight out. So if you want to do it, go ahead. But don't, I'm telling you now, I'm going to do your act. And a couple of guys didn't do it. Yeah, she just took it. But
they
anyway,
did the whole thing. She did the whole thing. But like Rick Messina how's Rick Messina, by the way? Do you guys still keep in contact with Rick?
I haven't talked to him in years. No, I haven't talked to him.
Were you one of the guys that would go up to his house every Sunday back in the day?
Yeah, in the beginning, all the time. Yeah.
Everybody was there. I was never invited. Not that I was invited. I just never went up there. I was never invited up there. I mean, I was younger then at the time.
Yeah, we had a good time.
You were very established
and stuff. I mean, I was excited. Listen, I'm from New York. It's the first time I moved in '93. I found so many reasons not to for a year and a half. Because New York was my friends, family. And then one guy said to me, I'll never forget. One of my friends said, "Listen, Jimmy, what's the worst that could happen? You come back." And then I fell in love with it. And when I was there through the 90s, it was a different California. I don't even remember seeing a homeless guy. Well, then again, you had a Republican mayor and a Republican governor at the time. And
I loved L.A.
It was exciting. I loved it too. I loved my sister said to me 2 weeks later on the phone, she goes, "You ain't coming back ever, are you?" I said, "Nah."
Yeah.
I never did.
I loved it. I was out there from 1990 to 2013, and I loved every second of it.
I guess we were doing our own thing, but I wish me and you. And then I got to know Dice, and a lot of guys that I kept quiet with. They had their thing, I had mine. But then we got to know each other. It was pretty cool. And then we would talk. Matter of fact, I gotta say, he called me 8 times at least when he had the sitcom. He called me. I got to say that. I was living at the Oakwoods then, across the street.
I remember you lived at Oakwoods. I was going to say, you lived at the Oakwoods in Burbank.
And then I bought a house after that, you know. But he said to me, Jimmy, you're the guy. Come down, please. You're gonna and then Rick kept telling me, well, Tim's looking forward, you know, to you doing the spin-off. And I would have got that, even though it only lasted a year. I would have made it $500,000. They offered like $20,000 an episode, you know. And I really appreciate it. So we got to know each other, and what happened, he liked, you remember, you know him better than anybody, but he liked crank calls, and one night we called James Woods.
Well, he loved that. We'd spend till hours in the morning, we'd be up all night.
He called James Woods like about midnight, and I don't know if James, somebody said something or whatever, and I acted like a mob guy. And I said, I'm going to take care of the guy. And he was so great, and I said, and he goes, no, Mr. Caboni, whatever name I use. He goes, no. I said, hey, Mr. Woods, it's done already. You can't stop it. And he was like real nervous and all. And I don't know if Dice ever told him if it was a crank call.
No, Dice would never
Woods,
tell him that. He would always live. He would stay that way. Yeah. He used to piss off Danny Aiello because Danny Aiello had a very big ego, and Danny always thought he was like a Shakespearean actor, you know. And you couldn't. And every time Dice would see him in a show, he would always say to Danny, you know, I tell you, I watched that in that show. You were very funny. What do you mean I was funny? I wasn't supposed to be funny. Oh, no, I was laughing so very good. And Danny wanted to kill him because Danny had this ego, too, you know. What
I
the
only
fuck
know
is
Danny
funny?
from playing softball against him. I used to play in the comic strip team. And when me and, God, what was his name? The big Italian guy. God, it's been so many years. You know, used to say, I know, what's the bouncer doing on stage was his opening line. Whatever. But when we got on the team, they were the worst team for years. We became the best team, first place.
That was in New York City, right? Because Aiello was a bouncer at the Improv, I heard.
And then Aiello played on another team. We played against him and his son. You know.
So you were in the comedies. You were in the comedy. You started in comedy in New York in the 70s. I came in the 80s. So you already.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, man. In the late 70s, you know.
Didn't you leave and come back?
Yes, I did leave, and I got my life straightened out. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I stopped, you know, drinking. A lot of it I don't remember, but like, you know, the old Improv, what's her name, loved me. I had no material. I used to ad-lib I used to get three guys and ad-lib a dating game. And it became so good at it, it became like part of what I did. And so she passed me there, and then at Catch a Rising Star one time, wow, this is the late 70s too. You used to have to stand online. They give you 10, I think it was like 15 numbers, and people, well, you know, I knew people like you know people, and he made a phone call, and I got on that night, and I sucked. I wasn't that good, and I was so upset about it, you know. So this time I said, I don't want no help from nobody know, and I parked my car. I was drinking all night. I parked my car on First Avenue in front of the line. So I got a number, and I went on that night. I had a green leather jacket, and Lillian Tolsch, I think her name was the MC.
I remember her.
Don't know what I did. Almost you could call it a gray out. I don't remember much, but I know I killed the crowd. She hugged me going, oh my God, Labriola, you killed. And they said, we want you to come back. And I never did for a while. It's like when I did this, my
what do you think about what do you think about the comedians nowadays? And I'm saying the young comedians who are out there grinding, not the ones who are famous, and then the way we were out there grinding. I mean, comedy, I think, even the culture of stand-up has changed so much, even the way we do it and the way they do it. We do it totally different.
Well, number one, it's saturated. I mean, you know, there was a time when I saw a comic I saw somewhere, you would go, oh, wow, you know, it was like a big deal to see. And everybody in the industry, comics knew each other. Even the clubs you went to, the waitresses knew you knew them.
Everybody, yeah.
Everybody knew everybody. I couldn't wait to go to Clearwater because they all knew me, and then we'd have barbecue. We'd go to the pool,
right?
The hotel pool. I mean, it was like a big.
It was camaraderie
for them when I come in. So I go there twice a year, and there was an environment. Now I'll go into a club and say, "Hey, I'm Benny from Home Improvement." Okay, that's nice. $8.50.
Right.
No clue.
Yeah. They don't care.
You know,
no. It's no more culture.
It's a different. I mean, now you have to have a podcast really to.
Well, podcasts are really hot right now. I mean, you'd be great for a podcast just to have your own show.
I had one. You know, I had one probably before it was really anything. I had one, and I had big names on it. It was only audio at that time.
Right.
And the guy was in California. He was perfect. He knew it. And then the next thing you know, we did about 18 shows and all. The guy disappears. It turns out, and the manager guy, he was perfect in everything except he was a drunk. I had no idea. I lost it. I should have took the downloads right away, but he kept everything, you know. So maybe something, I say that.
Get back up there again.
I thought about it. I really had. But you know something? Everything happens for a reason. Even not getting a sitcom, because God has blessed me abundantly in a whole nother way that we'll talk about later. You know, I mean, that really brought me joy and happiness. You know.
Well, and that's what I wanted to. I want to touch on something because you went through a personal transformation and a faith transformation.
Yeah,
you changed your direction.
I put down the booze and a lot of stuff when I was 26, actually.
Yeah, but you also got involved in a faith-based way, I think.
Yes, I did, very much so. That happened in 99.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did that happen? Like what came on? Who tapped you on the shoulder? What happened at that point to say, you know, this is the way I'm gonna do this now?
Well, my life changed at 26 when I, you know, put certain things down like the booze and all, and I always had a relationship with God since I'm a kid.
Okay. So you always did. Okay.
Always did. Oh no, from day one.
Okay.
Here's the thing that changed my life. I mean, God's always had his. I was about 8 years old. I was in my friend Jose's house in Corona. And I don't know why this book was there, like a little black book. Till this day, I don't know what it was Bible, what it was. But something drew me over to it, and I opened the page, and it said, if you pray every night, you will see God. This is the God, from God to me to you. And every night from that night on, I've never gone to bed without praying. Even when I was drunk or something, I still said my prayer. And I see him all the time. I see him through you. He works through people, you know?
Right. And you got involved with people, even in politics. And you've done things. You went on tour with people.
I did that and here's the amazing part. You know, as a comic, Victoria Jackson, she used to be on Saturday Night Live for 6 years. She's very concerned, and she asked me, you know, we're going to be in. At that time, I was living in by the Nashville area. We're going to be there. You want to come?
I was going to say she lives in Franklin. That's why I knew.
Yeah,
I
it
knew
was
that.
the Tea Party Express. It used to be 3 giant tour buses traveling all over the country, and that's when they would get crowds 30,000, 50, 60,000. So I said, okay. I came there to do a little guest spot, and it was a table. I just feel the stage was a little table they pulled in the parking lot. But again, I killed it. So the guy in charge, Russo, I think his last name, he was Reagan's right-hand man when he was younger.
Wow.
And he said, man, would you travel with us? We'd love to have you. And so for like 2-3 years, I traveled everywhere. Here's the thing. I did comedy in the daytime. Right? Outside, which is like for us now, outside.
That's the hardest thing.
I clicked. I just clicked. But I clicked, and I don't remember one show I didn't kill because, you know, they'd have all these big politicians. And then in the middle of it, I'd go up and do it about 20, 25 and just kill it. And by that time, they were so happy to hear comedy. They didn't expect it, you know? So I did Sarah Palin when we were in Boston was the guest. They must have had like 40,000 people there, and I just killed it. I don't know.
The Sarah Palin show?
You know, what's that?
That was Sarah Palin, you said?
Yeah, she was the guest speaker that time. So they had about 40,000 people in the park. And with the bus, and then I come on in the middle and did my thing, and then I met her 2 more times. So every time I met her, she'd go, how can I forget you with that voice, you know? And she's a very nice lady.
Yeah,
and
I think she would have been great.
See politicians as regular people.
Oh, yeah.
At least I got it. And the Tea Party was just incredible. Most of the people were veterans. And the park was cleaner when they left. And, you know, and we had a Mexican on there that was in jail that used to rap and stuff. We had the main singer was a black guy. You'd hear all these things about race, you know. Matter of fact,
and they were all rehabilitated. Anybody?
You know, well, this one guy, the Mexican guy. The other guys were famous. He was a black singer, and we had people on the bus, and it became like a little family. It was wonderful. Wonderful time.
And who was the one gentleman that you were very good friends with? I think he was a big politician. I mean, you were like his buddy.
Governor Huckabee?
Huckabee, yes.
Yes.
How did that happen? I know you guys are very thick. You close. I mean,
very close. His daughter too, love her, and she's governor now of Arkansas.
I know. How great is it?
That was another thing, a God thing. You know, I had my agents then call up to go on his show when he was on Fox. You know, he had a great show. He was #1 on the weekend.
Wow.
Because he was smart. He had a studio audience, and they didn't want him to have a studio. But he knew enough, because he's a bass player, too. He loves music.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, and then once I went on there, if everybody look at the tape of me on there, I killed it. I'm not, you know, it's a little heavier than too, but I from the chair, I did this thing about looking for Bin Laden, and the ratings thing blew up, and we went to dinner, and we were over 3 hours. You got a guy from Arkansas, a guy from Corona, Queens, and we talked for over 3, and became like this.
Like close.
And then his
I
daughter,
remember
when he
seeing
ran
it.
for president, asked me, he said, my father liked you to come on the bus, and I were a couple of weeks with us. I said, sure. And if I didn't do that, I never met the people I did that helped me start my security business.
And do you still keep in contact with them at all?
Yes, all the time.
You do?
He's ambassador now. I have to call him ambassador, no more governor. He's the
But
ambassador to
you can
Israel.
just call him when you want to. You can just call him or text him whenever you want if you wanted to. You have that
Anytime.
access.
Anytime.
And his daughter.
Call
His
him,
daughter
text
too.
him. Even his daughter, Sarah.
That's
No problem.
wonderful. And then
I've
I
met
didn't even
more
know you even got involved with the American troops. I mean, you did comedy in
Yeah,
Iraq. I didn't know that.
I went to Iraq in 2004 for 8 days. And that's when the stuff was really hitting the fan with Fallujah and all. It was
Right.
called Comics on Duty, and I was like the celebrity host, and it was incredible. I mean, the Black Hawk Hell. We took the show where the USO didn't go, put it that way. We went to them. We'd go to a cafeteria, they'd make a stage, and we do it there. We did it 40 soldiers where Dan Rather was interviewed Saddam. I stayed on a Marine base a couple of nights with a couple
Amazing.
of thousand Marines, you know. It was incredible time. It really was.
That
to
much,
do that.
and just to be doing that for America, you know, is just to just know you were there representing our country as
And I've done
as
stuff
the,
for
as the
Wounded
comic relief.
Warriors and things like that. You know, you got to give it away. You got to give it away, man. You know.
I wanted to ask you about surviving in this business because you're still doing it. I mean, whenever you want to do it, you can just do it. I mean, that's, you know, you choose to.
That's the nice
pick
part.
your own battles.
Is that now I do what I want when I want. You know, God has blessed me financially.
But surviving through, do you have any disappointments? Were there any disappointments or personal struggles? Without getting into the personal stuff, but what about disappointments or regret or people that really, I want to say fucked you over or, I mean,
definitely.
setbacks the public don't know about, things like that. They don't see those
100%.
things that we go through. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of comedians that have been influenced by Jim Labriola. I was one of them years ago who was very influenced by you.
Thanks.
And we talked about that. We're not going to, we talked about that.
I appreciate that.
But I said my piece to you. But there are a lot of
it was very nice. Yeah.
Thank you. And there are a lot of
Then again, I got
comedians
to
out there.
compliment you. You were one of the last guerrilla, you know, real, as far as killer on your throat comics. I mean, go look at him on show, and I back it up. Go on Showtime with Dyson Special and watch everyone, and then watch him, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Real funny.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that, Jim. And I I knew comedians back in the day, and I'm going to bring it up lightly. There are a lot of comedians who would blatantly do you. I mean, guys like Vic DiBitetto and other people that would go on stage, and I feel that they were using your, not to get you all aggravated. Now, listen, we've talked about this a million times, so it's not. We've gotten past the aggravation. It is what it is. But I think it's a shame that people will put aside friendship over that. How greed takes over. Don't you think? They'll put aside friendship over a fucking joke or something like that because they're so weak-minded people.
You know, it's a good one because you find out who people really are when they start getting a little fame. You know, I did this show, Night of 1,000 Weeks, for how many years? I had everybody on it. Now, you got to remember, I'm sharing the stage with 4 or 5 other. I got to go on in between the best of the best. And I had it. I had fun with it. It was like a family. Johnny Rizzo, Joey Cola, all these guys, you know. It became so popular. I used not like Colin Quinn, non-Italians, but it was a love. There was a love there. And if somebody would have made it from my show, I'm the type of guy to go, wow, you know. But then there's one guy in particular who I was friends 40 years. Well, I thought I was. Then he got a little popularity. And then you see the real person, you know, throwing everybody under the bus. And the left, you know, this person, they think they're big on Avenue E or Avenue D. But you know something? I don't even have a resentment. If anything, I feel sorry for them. You know, I do. I wouldn't want that life. No matter what they have, I wouldn't want to be who they are.
I agree. We're better people than
I
that.
want to be, I can hold my head high. I've helped many friends that came out to college and got them agents, and one in particular got him on and he did a great job. You can only open the door, but he got it on an episode of Home Improvement. And I don't begrudge that to anybody, but and I tell comics, don't give up, man. Cream rises to the top. Cream rises to the top, and have fun doing it. And mistakes are made to learn from, and disappointments you can't. It's going to happen all the time. You're going to be disappointed. People are going to BS you. It's a business where, the agents and all, they throw the carrot in front of you. They always know what to say to you to keep you going.
Pimps.
Years ago, agents made careers. Managers made careers. Now, it's like they handle somebody big, and now you're kissing their ass.
Exactly.
It's reversed now. I've had friends, I try to get an agent. They go, well, you got it. What credits do you got? TV. And I go, well, I seen him in a play. Yeah, you got. Well, how do you get a TV credit if you don't have an agent? It's all backwards today.
It makes no sense.
No, and if you're not happy doing it and you're miserable, get out of it. Get out of it.
What do you think about today's sensitive culture, Jim? About the sensitive cancel culture and what people are going through?
Bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
I think
bullshit,
I think it's
Michael.
awful.
It's
Comedians
ridiculous.
are afraid can't take chances now. You don't want to go on stage and take a chance.
No, you got to take risk in life. I took one in '93 going to California. I took a risk the night I wanted to crap myself when I first headlined my first gig. Being a headliner, I was shaking, but I always walk through the fear. You have to walk through the fear, not around it, not.
I agree. You have to go through it.
Walk through it. The only way you can teach all you want comedy, which is good. There are guys to learn, but that teacher is going to take your ass and probably put you on a stage.
Right.
That's where you're really going to learn.
That's where you're really going to learn.
And it was a different time for us then. Like I said, we had a lot of one-nighters. We had this, we had that. It wasn't saturated yet as it is today. Who are some of your favorite comedians today out there working? I mean, do you are there any of them that you say, wow, he's got it. He would have done well back in our day. God, I'm ashamed to say I'm the worst with names. I forget names. Like my wife, I'm at that age where I got to call her honey sometimes.
What about Bill Burr? How do you like Bill? Well, Bill Burr's not. How about Sebastian? He's kind of the newer Italian comedians.
Yeah, I think Again, listen, nothing away. The guy's doing whatever he's doing.
Yeah, he's doing great. Yeah, and I love Sebastian. I have nothing against him. I love Sebastian.
I think his bits are incredible, some of them. But when I saw the whole hour of him together, it was, it was okay. But when I heard like just a bit, just that bit, it was hysterical. I mean, you got to give it to the guy. But I was doing that 40 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Right. If you were going to put together a show. He does. He's got his wife also is big people.
So I begrudge nothing. I'm not a guy. I've never been envious. So I'm not.
No, me neither.
I'm just saying he's good, but I know guys that are road comics that are nonstop.
There are comics out there right now that are fantastic that will never get a break. That no one will ever see them. They will never get a break. They're in the middle of the road somewhere in Wyoming right now, killing crowds, but no one will ever know these people. But they're making money.
How many of those guys do we know in our life, right?
And that's what I was going to ask you. If you had to put together the perfect show, then they don't got to be Italian comedians. They could be anybody. You're going to produce a show, and it doesn't matter dead or alive. And you had to pick 5 comics for the perfect show. Jim Labriola.
Oh, right off the bat, I go Joey Cola.
Oh, 100%. I got to give you that. Yeah, Joey
Cola right off the bat. I put you in there.
Thank you.
So I got you, Joey Cola. Got to put Johnny Rizzo in there.
Yeah, I like Rizzo.
Different. I put Rizzo in there. Wow. Guys I know. That's a good one. Al Romero.
Great choice.
Home run hitter all the time.
Always comes through.
I put Colin Quinn in there.
I think that's a great show. I think that every one of those people you mentioned will come through.
Yeah,
they're going to do their job,
and they're all different. There's not one like each other.
Not one like each other. Everybody's going to go out there. You know what you're going to get. You know it's going to be a great show. The people are going to get their money's worth, and it's going to be a great show. We should put that show together.
You know what? We should. That's what was so great about the Guido show. It was like a family. We're all back there laughing. I know everybody wanted everybody to do good. We're back there laughing our ass off. And you know what? My thought was everybody killed because all you had to do was 15, 20 minutes. So you went out, everybody killed. We had a built-in crowd for years. My friend used to sell the tickets hand by hand. I kept Jimmy's Comedy Alley open probably a year and a half longer than it should have been.
Who were the original Guidos?
The original Guidos was Frank D'Amico, was one of them. Okay. That guy Vic.
That guy Vic.
Yeah. Man of 1,000 acts. That's Vic. And then, what did I say? Frank D'Amico, Johnny Rizzo, Joey Cola. And Ray Romano did a couple of them, too.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like Ray.
Wow, there was a lot of, those were the original guys I would use. What's the Italian guy we first said used to have the bad wig or whatever? I asked how he's doing. Is he still alive?
I forgot.
I just, remember I said, you said, yeah, you think he might have went to jail or something.
Richie Triola.
Richie Triola was one of them I used in the beginning.
He was great. I used to like him with the guitar, you know?
Yeah. And the great Santangelo.
Oh, of course, yes.
We used to use him just as the great Santangelo. You know, when he did that was the funniest 10 minutes in show business, the magician, when he did the magician.
You ever have Chips Cooney in any of your shows? Remember Chips?
Chips Cooney. Yeah, that's Chips, you know, the great Santangelo.
Okay, yeah, okay, the magician. I love.
He's the magician.
He used to get, he would get frustrated on his act, throw the fucking thing down. He was the best.
Yeah, remember we used to call it the funniest 10 minutes in show business. He never talked too. He never talked. He just did just
frustrated
magician.
And aggravated. Yeah, he was great.
Magic. Remember, and we used to advertise it as he makes it snow on stage, and then he would go like this. He had one of those snow things for Christmas. Cover it, go like this, and go. It's with the music going. It's magic. Snow on stage.
Do you remember this guy years ago? I forgot his name. If you watch television back in the day, he used to go on stage during the 70s, and he'd go on and he'd have his hands out and he'd go na 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 na.
Yeah. Na na na. Of course.
What the fuck was this guy? I loved him.
Hysterical.
Na 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 na. He used to do the two fingers like it was a big.
Or what's my name?
Best.
Jose Jimenez. Astronaut. And he used to do all the different characters as Jose Jimenez. Those guys were brilliant back then. Brilliant.
I used to watch the Johnny Carson show when I was 7 years old. I told my mother I wanted to be a comedian. She let me watch the Johnny Carson show, and I knew right away this is going to be my life, you know. And I that's why I empathize with what you said. Okay, so behind the laughter, Jim, people know you on stage. They see you in the movies. They see you on TV. You're an entrepreneur. You got a big company in the security world. You're the king of the truck stops. They see you at the Comedy Store. You give advice. All this stuff. But what do you think is the most misunderstood about you, Jim? What do people you think might think of you that is misunderstood?
Wow, that's just good questions.
That they don't realize about Jim Labriola.
That Jim Labriola really likes his down, quiet time.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You're more of an introvert like me. You don't care. You don't want to be around people.
On my other life, I can't help but be funny. After a show, and especially in a comedy club, you're doing a show for them again at the bar. You're still going.
Right.
But maybe some people thought I was an angry guy or something, or I got a temper. I used to be a teamster, but I really enjoy helping people. If I can help somebody, I think what people don't realize, I love to be an encourager. My wife always says you're an encourager. I love encouraging people no matter what it is in their life and showing them sometimes things about themselves that they don't see, gifts that they have that they're maybe not using, I really enjoy that tremendously.
Yeah. Being a person that can help other people and you enjoy watching that you help them.
I like helping other people and I like if I'm in a women's shelter doing a show like for charity or something like that, I remember that more than when I did Carnegie Hall, and that's the God's honest truth. I did a
I remember
church.
that. I remember when you did Carnegie Hall. I remember it too. I remember seeing it.
And I did like a poor church once in Florida where I lived, and I told the pastor, yeah, I'll do something for you. It was Christmas, and I'm sitting in my car, and all these people, it's a poor town, a poor church, but who's bringing this and cakes and all stuff, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and this is a big night, for them. And I'm crying in my car, and then I go in there and there's no setup. It's a little church. There's just and my friend, I brought him and his kids, and they wound up. My opening act was the kids singing Christmas song, and then I'm just in the middle of the room with a mic, and then there's a table of women, like a big table with just women in the middle, and these people are laughing and laughing, and at the end I find out those women from a shelter, and the night I gave them, and I'll tell you what, I get emotional thinking about it. Now, okay, don't get me wrong, I'm not down in Carnegie Hall, but that's the things I remember, was giving it back like that. Because those people will always remember that. Especially that's a women's shelter. These women were abused, so.
Yeah.
That's
a wonderful
that
thing.
Stuff. Or the troops, those are the things that stand out.
When you're done with it, you can walk away and feel good about it and say that was fantastic. You're proud of yourself.
Yeah.
There are those proud of yourself moments.
I get emotional still thinking about it.
Yeah, Carnegie Hall was a big deal. To play Carnegie Hall, and it's interesting when. How did you feel before you were just walking out?
was there to see me that night too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I introduced him to the crowd and stuff. Yeah.
How did you feel as you were walking out on that stage? Did you did you feel anything, or did you zone out and just do Jim?
It's funny. We did theaters coming up to Carnegie Hall, right? And it's funny because all the other theaters, I could see the audience from the stage. Carnegie's Hall Union, you're sitting there and you're watching on television, and the guy, he opens the door. And then you walk out and you're just Jim Labriola. You're just another crowd, but you felt it. You just knew it was Carnegie Hall when you went out there. It was incredible.
You felt like sometimes you feel like a little kid. Sometimes like knowing it.
The one other stage that gave me a thrill like that, I was with my old manager. We were looking to bring the Guido show in to a casino in Atlantic City. And I went on, I think it was the Hilton. Where did Elvis Presley perform? Was that the old Hilton Hotel?
Yeah. Yep.
And the guy took us on the stage, and I'm not kidding. A chill went up my arm, and my manager felt the same thing. And it's only 1,600 seats, but it's amazing. But the stage is just goes back all the way and back and back. And I'm thinking, oh my God, Elvis was on the stage. Sinatra was on the stage. Liberace was on this stage, and I'm just standing on it, and it definitely, I felt something on that stage. Yeah. And I felt that with Carnegie, but the difference in Carnegie, I had to get, I had to start into get them right.
And away, Carnegie is your hometown. You're in your hometown.
Look, the first row. I had friends that bought tickets for the front row.
It's like you see yourself in the audience. Like you could have been in that audience. Now you live. I'm not gonna say where you live, but you live in an area that's not close to a lot of comedy, right? I mean, they have places, but we don't go up every night like we used to. I don't go up every night like I used to.
No, there's an improv. There's a couple of improvs up here, which I did years ago with Blake Clark. We sold out the whole week when we did the guys from Home Improvement, the hardware guys.
But do you ever find yourself wanting to go out and hang out one night just to go see what's going on? There's somebody there, Like not like if I know if I was performing at the Improv or if you were performing there, I'd go see you. But I don't just go to comedy clubs.
I want to see. She's very funny. Like I said, I'm a big fan of female comedy. I don't know when some people go, "Oh, they're not." There's some females out there funnier than guys,
Yeah.
But her name is Rachel Feinstein. She's one of my friends. He's the chief of police, and his wife is called Rachel Feinstein. She's hysterical, and you can see her Netflix special on Netflix, on HBO. Yeah, you can see a Netflix special. No, you can see a
Netflix on HBO.
It's called Big Guy on Netflix.
On Netflix.
It's called Big Guy, and she is hysterical. And she was here, I forget how many months ago, and it was great because she brought her kid and my friend, and they hung out by my house all day. And then I went to the show at night. She even asked me to get up. It was packed. She packed it out, and I don't know. I had that twitch to go. It would have been easy, but I didn't. I don't know. I just said, it's a night,
Yeah. I have a hard time going to comedy.
Maybe I was afraid I wouldn't have got off.
I have a hard time going to comedy clubs now. I don't know. Maybe because being a comedian, I'm always, I don't want to say judging.
We're not an audience, Michael. We're not.
Yeah, I got to be there.
I can't sit in the audience. I'm not that guy.
I'm not that guy either. All right, so wow, we did. This was a great show. I mean, there's definitely going to be a part 2 for this one, but we did an hour and 4 minutes, and it feels like we've been doing this. Yeah, but I got to ask you, closing question, and this is after everything you experienced, the laughs, the television, Hollywood, I mean, faith, the hard years. What does Jim Labriola know today that the young comedians in New York or the circuit need to desperately know about this business?
Number one, don't make it your God. Don't make it your all. Don't make it, if I get there, my life's going to get better and everything's going to be wonderful. Get yourself corrected first. It's not going to be you making. See, I've been blessed to be on the top of the mountain to see what it's really like and what it is, and so have you. Get yourself together first. Get your relationship with God or whatever you want to do, something better than you. If you need medication, whatever, get your head together and realize, be happy now. It is the journey of it. It's not going to be the destination. There's a lot of guys in this business, Belushi, I use Robert Williams, They got the destination. Sure. It's the journey. Enjoy every minute of it. Enjoy the friendships that you make on the journey. Stick with the winners, not the whiners. There's a lot of backstabbing in this, and any business, but a lot in this business. And don't make it, be happy now. Get yourself mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally in good shape now. And then go out there and believe in yourself. Believe in who you are. Believe in your God. Don't believe in these so-called, I call them bar owners, club owners, and all that. That's why I made my own show. It's bar business. They don't care. Everybody's an expert. Oh, dress this way. Oh, don't do that, Joe. Be who you are. It takes time to find out who that real person is on stage.
100%.
And it'll click. And enjoy every minute. The journey, it goes by fast.
100%. You couldn't have said it. I couldn't have said it better. That's exactly right. They need to know that. I think there's no depth in this business anymore. They don't even know why they're on the stage. Are they on the stage to do comedy? Are they on the stage to build an Instagram following? Are they on the stage to be an actor? When we were on the stage, we wanted to be comedians. That's all we were. And anything else came after that. I agree with you 100%, man. It was great. I had a great time with you today, Jim. I really appreciate you being on the show. You have an open invite. Anytime you want to come on.
You made it easy, and I wish you nothing but success. Please come. I hope you enjoyed the interview. Friend every day. This is a great show, by the way, Michael. This is great.
People needed to know Jim Labriola a little bit more, and I think that's what we were bringing to the show. I know I could have got you, and we could have been ranting and going nuts. I don't think that was what it was about.
No, this was good. This is a nice pace. This was nice. This was real.
We had a good time.
And you make it easy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Labriola, really, everybody. Let's hear it for Jim Labriola. We got to give props to Jim. He was no, really. Oh no, no. This is the way they are, Jim. You don't know. They come out every week.
What a crowd! This is New York crowd.
No, they really no.
New Yorkers.
And we're gonna come to a town by you people. We'll be out there. We're gonna bring them.
I love it. Bless you all. God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate it. And anytime, you got my number. Call me anytime. Let's do this again. I think I want to bring you on, if you don't mind, like coming together. We could do like a co-host thing. We could do a show and bring somebody else on.
Anytime, it'd be an honor to work with you. Anytime.
Thank you, brother.
Anytime.
We'll talk soon.
And watch the show, everybody. Definitely.
Yeah, and again, where can people find you? I know you're on LinkedIn, but your business, your company, you want to tell them anything about what's going on?
It's called Premier Protective Security, and you could, I guess. I used to have the website, Jim at AOL. If you want to write me, you know what? It's Jim at AOL.com. Why not?
Jim at AOL.com. You can write him and you can see him on Instagram.
Only legitimate, because I'm in the security. I will find you. I will track you down. And I will hurt you.
I will find you and I will kill you. I remember that.
That's the greatest, right? Yeah. I have special skills.
Find you.
I will find you. And I will kill you.
I will kill you. The greatest sheer. And also you can find Jim Labriola on LinkedIn too. I think people are out there.
Yeah, LinkedIn. Definitely. You can find Jim Labriola on LinkedIn. That's why I do a lot of business on there and stuff.
Yeah. So look for him out there, and we'll have him back on the show, people. So no worries. This was great, and it'll be on. I'll send you the link, Jim, when the show goes. Right now we're live, but after the live show, like I said, it's going to go to Spotify and all that, and I'll send you a link.
I want to buy the audience lunch, just the whole audience. Sweetheart, when you get a chance, give us. But remember, I used to mumble it then. I mumble. You can't do that. Yeah. And it's always sweetheart. The waitress is always a waitress, right? You pick on a black guy, and I go, he's a good sport. Sweetheart, when you get a chance, give the black side.
All right, brother. Unbelievable. This is great. This is one of my better shows. I have to say, one of my best shows.
This was phenomenal. This was phenomenal.
I appreciate it.
You got a gift doing this, buddy. This was good.
Thank you.
You call me anytime, man.
I will call you. Trust me. I need.
Anytime.
I need people I can feed off of. You know, I've had young comedians on the show, and we're still live, by the way. I'm not stopping. I've had young comedians on the show, and they're great for about 8 minutes, and then after that, it's like we're done. What are we talking about? They didn't experience anything yet. They haven't done. I'm like, why the fuck are we here? You know, why are we here? Why did I call you? But you know, you got to give people a break.
Well, that happened in our business. Remember when we were road guys, we could do 40, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Then they got these guys that did that when it got saturated, they only had they used to do the show. They only have 15 minutes of material, and now people were sending them out on the road, and they go, well, "What road?" You know. Yeah. I remember Adam Sandler, God bless him. Yeah. I tried to help him in the beginning. I said, "Yeah, do my act if you need it." Honestly. Because he became pretty. I knew that kid was going to rock it.
Yeah, we knew Adam back. Adam was going to make it. Fallon was destined to make it.
Yeah, I just knew he was going to do it. But I remember he had a couple of gigs where he had to do a lot of time. I tried. He probably don't even remember, but you know, I liked him, and I said, you know, listen, even my stuff, you remember, whatever. Don't worry about it. Use what you got. You know, that's how we were back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, it's different when you steal somebody's act is one thing,
right?
But if you're in an area and you got to get through and you're having a hard time because maybe the demographics is challenging.
We've all done it. Let's face it.
We've all had to say the sign of the cross and do something. And that was only intended for a minute. It was intended for that night.
Yeah,
just to
I
get
remember
through.
seeing how scary it was when the guy goes, "Could you do in between do a couple more minutes?" And it was like, "What? Do a couple more minutes?" I would crap myself. And then you realize now you need 5 minutes just to warm up. You know, remember when 2 minutes, 3 minutes? Can I do 2?
Yeah, you know how people run the light and they want to stay on for an hour. I was never one of those guys. I was done. I wanted to get out of there when I was supposed to get out of there. I didn't give a fuck about trying to prove myself to anybody. I could do 3 hours like Chappelle would. I'm done. How many minutes? 20. I'll be off in 19 and a half. Don't worry about it.
That was Pat Cooper. You know, I didn't realize a lot of his shows were only 20 minutes back then.
Yeah.
A lot of his shows in Vegas were 20 minutes, maybe half hour.
Yeah.
In front of the singers. Yeah, that was it.
You know, Eddie Griffin would go on stage at the Comedy Store 2 hours, Paul Mooney 3 hours. I'm like, you know what? I had nothing that long to say.
I hated that more than anything. I didn't give a shit who they were. And that's true about Carlos when I told him that. I said, come here, can I talk to you a minute? I see that name, Jim Labriola. If you ever go fucking minute one more time and do that again, I'm going to knock you. And he didn't say a fucking word. Then I called him. I used to call him the phony Mexican. Because he has no Mexican blood in him.
No, he's half Honduran, so he's only half Hispanic.
And then the other one is like Nicaraguan, some shit like that.
Yeah, Honduran and German. His name is Ned.
Yeah, he's not Mexican. Yeah. But you know what? His career.
And now he's got to pay for it too. $8 million in back taxes. He'll be calling Tony Camacho for gigs. He'll be calling anybody. He'll try to be calling anybody for a fucking one night of this guy.
Did he really?
Tony,
did he really owe $8 million?
$8 million. He didn't. He owes $8 million in tax. Yeah, he's not.
Well, his reputation. Once Joe Rogan did that, called him out. Though I mean, the guy, like you said, he stole complete fucking bits. The guy.
I mean, he was blatantly just taking hunks of material and just doing it. I mean, he was stealing from Freddie Soto.
How lucky he is that Joe was just verbal with him. Because, you know, I mean, Joe's smart enough not to do it on camera, but he could have fucking...
Yeah, I was there that night. I watched it. And I was also there when... Oh, yeah. And I was also there when Carlos was on stage in the main room, and George Lopez came over from the Laugh Factory and took him backstage in the main room, George Lopez, just to come and see Carlos, and slapped the fucking shit out of him and said, you ever take my act again, this is going to be not the last time you hear from me. He slapped him in the back of fucking stage. Yeah, I was there for that, too. That was crazy.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, so he was stealing from everybody. He didn't care.
I wish we're all in town. Shit, I wish I got to hang out with you more. We both there. I didn't realize, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I really
of course.
did.
It was different.
Because I'm not the only thing at Rick's house, they smoke fucking pot like it was like Cheech and Chong movie. I don't like pot and all that. I mean, everything you grabbed was a fucking pipe. You know, you go, can I use your phone a minute? No, that's a pipe.
Yeah, everything was a pipe. Yeah, everything.
Yeah, everything was a fucking pipe. I just gotta use your pen. No, that's a pen pipe.
Oh, no, that's a pipe real quick. That's fucking funny, man. Write that down.
Hey, yeah. Rick, you drop your wallet. No, it's a wallet pipe.
No, it's a pipe. No, there's a pipe. It's a pipe. It looks like a wallet.
No, it's a pipe. Yeah. I found your shoe. No, it's a fucking shoe pipe.
It's a big pipe.
Every fucking thing. That's all they did. They sat there, smoked pot morning, noon, and night, fucking stoned, and eating all kinds of junk food. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm fucking straight. I don't do that shit, you know? And then it was good. Mike came out in town. Mike Grief, I told him, come out, you know? And
I like Grief. How's he doing, by the way? I meant to ask you how Mike Grief is doing.
He's good. He's doing good. You know, he's been married a long time. I got him on fucking. That's who I was talking about. I got him on Home Improvement.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I got him in Asia. But see, that's what we do. That was my friend. I didn't. You know what I'm saying? You fucking. Right. I got him the fucking part on there, and then I heard. Now I only met him a couple of times. Frankie Laporte.
From Chicago.
Yeah, I think he's from Chicago.
Yeah,
he had
Laporte,
a bad car accident or something a year ago.
Yes.
Now, I met the guy a few times. And I liked him. He wound up working
Rocky
with
Rocky Laporte.
Rocky Laporte, right. Now, the couple of times I met him, I never forgot he was a nice guy, right? So when I heard that happen, I talked to him. I fucking sent money right away.
Right.
You know?
Sure.
I sent
there are people that you know.
They had a thing, fundraiser for him. You know? I didn't even think twice about it, you know?
No, that's nice that you did that. I think that we should put together a show. Just a few of us. We'll put some newer guys in there, and just have a good. I think it would be fun to just do it in a few cities.
You know what?
Arizona, Florida.
Al lives in Florida. One thing about Al, I don't know if you've ever seen his whole act. Al's a killer every time. Oh God, how many radio shows we've done over the years? You always count on fucking Al's gonna knock it out. Rizzo could go in, but when Rizzo's on, he's fucking on. Now remember, we're only doing 15, 20 each. Makes a big difference.
It would be a dangerous show.
And I treated everybody good. When I got it into big time with the hotels, I was paying guys $3,000-$4,000 for fucking 20 minutes. Yeah. And then I would pay them more. You know, when we were there for like 3 nights. Remember, I never played comedy clubs in a hotel. That's why I had my own show. I sold it. The guys would be picked up with limousines, their wives. You know what I mean? And remember, we're the show, so we're fucking.
You treated them the way it was supposed to be done.
Yeah, I used to get a per diem for all the guys too to eat in the hotel at the restaurants too every day. I did it right. Yeah, I always fucking shined myself, you know. And we were on a roll there with hotels for a while, and then 2008.
That was the end of everything.
The economy won. The kind of show I had, the money they were paying, all those hotels dried up. Yep. We were fucking getting standing notes everywhere.
Yeah,
we were on a little bit of a roll, and I treat the guys always good. They'll tell you. You talk to Rizzo. Ask him if I always treated fucking.
I did know that because they always said they always said how you would treat them.
Richie Manavini still can't figure out. I'm the only fucking show he had in it. His new club never did like his original. He could
right. No, the original is always the best.
It was beautiful and all, but I'm still the only show sold out. He doesn't know how I did it.
Yeah. You still talk to Manavini?
Very rare. We've talked a few. Like on I talked to him about maybe 3 years ago for a long time.
Okay.
A lot of things I learned about him. What he had to go through with a couple of wise guys.
Yeah. He's been through some shit. Yeah.
And but we text once in a while. We do stay in touch with a text.
That's good.
I like. I don't got nothing bad to say. Me
personally,
I didn't like a lot of Long Island comics. I didn't like a lot of those guys.
I wasn't a fan of those guys like Truson and those guys. I was never a fan of them.
Yeah, I wasn't.
It was only Joey Cola. Joey Cola was my. I like Joey.
He's not even in that category. Yeah, I'm talking about like Jeff Jabrowski and.
I was never into those guys. Yeah, never into them. Farentino and all that.
I went after him, Matt. There's a couple of guys I put through a window over the years that people don't talk. I don't talk much about this, but it's taken me a lot of years. It's a family thing. It's like we used to call it the Labriola clot. And I would come out of nowhere, because I love people. I really do, but I would get when I got mad, it was almost uncontrollable. My father had it, my brother had it, my grandfather had it, and it took me years and stuff because I'm, so, and thank God, because I'd be dead or in jail or whatever the fuck
right.
now, and a couple of guys but it was always guys, Michael, that you would have wanted. It was always a comic that you wanted to slam in the face.
Right.
Too.
Yeah.
Like,
He deserved it.
Like one night, I'm at the Catch a Rising Star. That's how long, years ago. And I was with my friend Bob Piper, who used to write. A big guy too, big muscular guy, great guy. He was a drummer for a famous band, and he wound up writing.
Oh, wow.
We just happened to be there, and it was the guy that Eddie gave Freddie Prinze the gun. That when he shot.
Alan Bursky. Is that Alan Bursky? Alan Bursky.
Yeah, I don't remember the guy's name, but he was like an asshole. He was at the bar,
yeah.
And I don't know. And he starts interfering with our shit, and then I just said, "Hey, buddy, we're not talking to you." And then he got stupid, and that was it. I went fucking blank, and I'm on top. I'm choking him. And
Alan Bursky, that was.
Him, Yeah.
I knew you had. I knew you had a bit of a temper. I knew you had a bit of a temper out there.
Well,
when you didn't like somebody, or you felt when they wronged you didn't like anybody wronging you.
No, wronging me or a friend.
Right.
If you fucking talked about, like, even Vic at the time, when for whatever reason, the guy I was supposed to play, he wanted me to play the Riviera, the guy from The Sopranos there.
Sharippa.
And Rick's telling me, "Oh, you guys are going to hit it off, you two, right? Okay, fine." I go there, and he's walking and talking. "Hey, I heard about you." And then I said, "Yeah, my friend Vic." And as soon as I said Vic, he goes, "Oh, that fucking guy with his cuz," turned me right off.
Yeah, Steve Sharippa.
Right off. I didn't like. Yeah, I was the type of guy, like, if we're out,
he was a jerk off. I didn't like him either. I talked about him on one of my first. He was a fucking complete jerk off to everybody.
Yeah, I didn't like him, and then because he did that, so now he books me and I cancel it. I cancel the fucking thing, and he goes, "Well, what do you mean you're canceling?" I said, "Hold on, you want me to fucking? Did I say it in Spanish? I'm not coming." He goes, and I said, "Do me a favor. Don't pull that fucking I know who, because who you know, I know. We both know."
Right.
That's how I want.
Yeah,
we both
friends.
know. So let's just leave it at that. Goodbye. And I fucking hung up.
Good. I didn't like him. Never. He treated me like shit. I never went back there either. I fucking hated it.
He hated Pat Cooper.
I know.
Hated Pat Cooper.
He thought he was a tough guy, Sharippa. He took it to heart.
And then another guy. It's funny. I was talking to John Manfrotti's another funny guy.
Yeah.
He opens for guys, and we've been friends forever.
Yeah, Manfrotti's funny.
I'm laughing because one night I never talk about these things. Putting a guy, I don't want. But one night I got into him and he goes, "Labriola, you're fucking a sick bastard." I said, "No, you fucking." It was like the guy that used to remember what was his name from Long Island, and I liked him at first, but he used to change to the German guy. He'd come out as a German guy. And then he would change into the regular guy he was.
I can't remember, but I can't remember his name.
God. Matter of fact, he got caught for some child stuff online.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was pretty popular at one time. He'd come out as Klaus Myers, the fucking German, and it was fun.
I can't remember.
Halfway in his act, he would just switch over to him. And the crowd would be like, "What just happened?"
I got to
Myers,
research.
That was his name, Jim Myers.
Jim Myers? I don't remember him.
So one time, I'm playing in Jersey at one night, and it's him and his friend, of course, they're together, and I don't know if I was the middle, whatever I was, and I'm standing at the end of the bar, and they keep looking at me and laughing. And they're fucking talking. I mean, it's obvious, So finally I just went over, I said, "What's so fucking funny?" Bing! Him against the fucking wall. And then I told this friend, "Make a move and I'll stick in your fucking eye with a glass," something sick like that. And then, you know what it is? People not used to you doing that.
They think we're just funny all the time. They don't realize there's another switch.
And then, but the one thing with me, when I would calm down, like then I run. I get myself out of there because I know where I'm going, and I run. And then when I calm down, I do always go to the person. Listen, I'm sorry. But then he did say, no.
They know when they're wrong.
I shouldn't have,
They have to admit to it. If you're going to say...
Even in Iraq to a comic when I was there. Guy was a fucking complete jerk-off.
Yeah. Some comedians have no class. They're assholes,
So everybody that, like, I had a problem with, like, became like this another comic. I put him against the fucking glass. And I hated this kid. and he would make it obvious. Always, when I was having that lady managing me, he'd always have a fucking sly zinger, like that kind of guy.
Yeah, they do that because they want to be noticed.
And that was it, man. I had it with the fucking zingers. And I zinged his head right against the fucking glass at Catch a Rising Star. Boom!
Oh, I remember Catch.
I thought he was good. I was hoping his fucking head went through the glass, but... And then he never... I didn't see him a lot after that, I'll be honest with you.
I remember a lot of guys from Catch back in the day. Mike Robles used to play out there all the time. There was a guy, Danny Rebecca. Do you remember Danny Rebecca?
Sounds familiar.
He was always in Dangerfields and stuff.
But that was the club at one time.
Yeah.
One time it was Catch a Ride. I mean, no club brought you up with a band, and those guys can play with anybody.
Yeah, it was Catch. Catch was, at one point, was the club.
My God.
Everybody wanted to be a Catch.
At that time, you had famous David Bowie be there, and he'd go up and do a song. The band could play with that. And they brought you up, whatever song, they tie in, And it was just an amazing, you'll never see that again.
No.
Family atmosphere.
Those were the times, though. Those were the times when it was it was really a culture, I think. It was truly a culture, Nowadays, it's more or less, I don't feel the culture of comedy now like it was on us. We looked out for each other. If we didn't like each other, we still look out for each other. Or, it was the way it was.
Without a doubt.
There was a real culture there. We'd see each other in the clubs. Hey, what are you doing? And bringing each other up, and it was fun. We'd go to the diner afterwards with Otto and George, and it was a different time.
It was. And my favorite town to perform in was Boston. That's the best time I had in my whole career. What happened is they got so popular out there, like Steve Sweeney and all these guys.
Yeah, those guys blew up.
They were making a fortune. They didn't even have to leave, but they needed new blood to come in the club. So, what's his name that used to book Catch a Rising Star? Oh my God, I forgot his fucking name already. Whatever.
Newman? Was it Newman? I forget.
Oh God, I knew him so good. Gay guy.
Oh yeah, Fernandez. Was it Luis Fernandez? No.
Yeah, Luis. Right. I love Luis. I'll never forget me and him were walking to the diner that was across the street, the Green Kitchen. Everybody used to go.
Yeah.
And we're walking, and I think it was St. Patty's Day, and all the drunks are out. So I'm walking with him, and this whole jeep of guys comes by. He goes, "Yeah, you faggots," and right away, fuck you, and Louis
turns into
goes, well, they're half right. And I just started laughing. It was great.
Yeah.
You bring in a lot of smiles. It was great fun like that.
It was.
There was no politics. I used to drive Joy Behar home every night because I had a car. Because I lived in Queens. Nobody had a car in there. So I was the guy always driving somebody home or whatever. And nobody talked politics. John Stewart.
No, nobody cared. I didn't even know John Stewart was in the party. He used to hang out in the back with his little notepad, fucking taking notes and doing his. Yeah, nobody cared. Nobody gave a shit.
Like I said, I drew Joy Behar. She's a lady. I drive her home, and we sit in the car and bullshit. I gotta say, she had me on her show once on CNN, and she knows I'm Republican. Bush was the president then,
Yeah.
But not only the 3-panel, I was leaving. She goes, "No, Labriola, you're staying." She kept me on just one-on-one, but she treated me with respect,
As much as radical as she is as a Democrat, as radical as she is, and as strong as we are as patriots and conservatives, if we were in a room with Joy right now, just hanging out at a comedy club, you would never know none of us were that world. We would just do we would just have fun, laugh, and make fun of people. That's the way it is.
Well, she was like, "Oh, I know you, Mr. Bush," but when I was on the show, and her producer was Larry Ambrose. He used to be.
Oh, I remember Larry Ambrose, sure.
But he was hysterical, and he I thought he hugged me so tight when I, was on the show, Labriola, and we had a community then. Like you said, even if everybody who liked who, whatever, but it was a community. Today, it's a different world now. Now, I mean, we're selling out stadiums, and some of these people and these guys couldn't shine your balls.
No, not at all.
Some of them. I mean.
No, I see some of them like this. I saw one recently.
Would you ever think you see a guy go on stage with no shirt?
I know.
No,
it's like there's no. Shirt. They lose class. They don't. When they go on stage, they look at them like, how the fuck did you get to this stage? I don't get it.
They look homeless. Some of them.
But they're homeless. They look like they're no acts. They're like half a retards walking around.
Well, the guy that his thing is I never thought I'd see that, and he's fucking heavy guy, and he goes on with no shirt. That's his whole thing. And then he's made a movie and all that, and that came through Joe Rogan, basically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Joe launches a lot of the derelicts.
Yeah. He launched all these guys, but what happens is they start going this way after a while.
You can only go so far. A person could take you to the top, but you got to stay there. You know.
We had more guys like that. You had your like weird acts, like they don't last long. Novelty acts, like what was his name?
Yeah.
Emo Phillips or whatever.
Emo.
He lasted 20 minutes.
Right.
And then he dated what's her name? The female.
I would even put Bob Nelson in that crew. I like Bob. He was a great comic, but he didn't go mainstream like a lot of the other people. He was just Bob, and he did his thing.
He was Eddie Murphy and him with it like this at one time. With
the
improv.
And he always stayed where he stayed. He never launched. And there's reasons for all that. And I had nothing against Bob Nelson. I'm just saying. I mean, I just picked him out of a hat because he was one of those guys. He had an act.
He was hot that time.
I can only watch him. Yeah, 10 minutes with Jiffy Jeff, and I was done. I was finished. I didn't want to watch anymore. All right, Jim. What a great show. I'm gonna go fucking. I don't edit this show. Yeah, do me a favor. Give me medium rare on that. Yeah, no, I saw that part, Jim. Yeah. Wait. That killed me when you used to do that. I love you too, brother. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, everybody. Good night.
Well, I gotta pay. Let me get off that fucking thing before I pay $300.